The recording? Yeah, sure. Thanks everyone for joining today's CPQ online training session. Pritika is our Salesforce expert. Okay. She will taking care this training. Okay. Pritika, actually, we already give a control to you. Please share your screen and start the session. In meanwhile, the people will join.
Yeah.
Thanks, Pritika.
Okay. So, hello everyone. Good morning. So, we are starting with CPQ demo. Like, I'm audible to everyone?
Yes, Ritika.
Yeah. Okay. So, we are starting with CPQ demo. So, I'm here to elaborate you that what we are including in our CPQ training, and we are organizing this training on the behalf of SB Soft. So, we provide training, consulting, and outsourcing for Salesforce. So here we start with our CPQ. So first I will start by introduction of myself. So my name is Vartaka and I'm like senior Salesforce developer working for Salesforce, Sales Cloud and CPQ from 4 years, and I have worked with various US clients for various CPQ implementations. So first we will start with what is CPQ. So CPQ is an extension that we like use to elaborate more about pricing and quoting. So this help us to engage more with this tool, with the Salesforce tool. So what is CPQ? CPQ is like configure, price, and quoting. So first we talked about what is configuring. So this configure help us like sales rep to quickly and easily select any product or like the product they want to choose, don't want to choose, they want any dependency. So CPQ make it easy for the sales rep to add or remove any product. Then coming to the second one, that is price. So pricing is like to calculate the optimal price. Like we can see that there are many codes that are like more bulky or we want any discount in them, like 2 decimal, 3 decimal. So rounding thing and all will help CPU help more in that. So pricing became more easier when we use CPU. And the third thing, the code one. So in CPQ we have like code templates, so that make easier to represent what our code look like. So we have code document thing that we can send to the customer and they can easily go through what they all buy, what they all don't buy. They can easily see into them, they can make change in their existing contract, everything is there in their code document. So that is like a document that is represented to the customer. Now coming to the next slide. So why CPQ is important in our business? So like we see in our Salesforce, there are like much larger code. We have products which have much larger prices. So calculation becomes tough when we do it manually or like it is not accurate one. So CPQ is help us to get more accurate result. So when sales rep use CPQ with our Salesforce, the deal became more faster. Like he can make a new business, then he can renew it, then he can amend it, then he can again renew it. That all makes easy. And then the second thing is uh we can offer like what is there in company and their sales rep can easily see what they are selling, what they are like not selling, what customer is paying for, what they are giving discount for. That is easily visible in their code documents and everything. Now, the third thing is enabling companies to launch new revenue model. This is like if company wants to add any new product to the system or they want any new the contract to be renewed or amend. So that all process make CPQ make much easier. So because of that, CPQ is like more important for the bulky codes and for the companies which have like product with larger margins. So CPQ is like must use for them. Now like how many companies are using Salesforce CPQ? So we have like 974 companies which have data like CPQ have data for them, and like in the market 11.44 share is there for the CPQ one, and rest all also like after CPQ and code to cash other things are also there in the market, but CPQ have 11.43 share. Now like why there is some disturbance going on. Ankur, can you like mute yourself? Okay. So now we come to like why companies are moving towards CPQ and like why we should learn CPQ. So what happening is nowadays like earlier company use spreadsheets calculation to go for the new business, then how they are renewing contract. So all these spreadsheet calculation will be ignored if we are using CPQ. Like it will be all handled by the system. The second thing is CPQ speed up that process. So if you are buying any product, you want to make discount, you need to have approval process, anything is there, like this all process make it easier by CPQ. Then third thing is like there are more accurate codes. So in CPQ we have like multiple discounting, like additional discount, target discount, discounts at the line level. So all this thing make the quote more accurate. The sales rep can put discount anywhere, and then they can like build their business that how they want to be discounted the product, and that quote can be more accurate. Third thing is like it helps front end and back end teams to work together across the business. This means that if sales rep is doing something or selling some product, then that back end office means management needs to know that how they are doing their business. So this whole process make it easier. Like we can have approvals into them so that they can approve and not approve their business, or like we can send their code document to the multiple people that can be approved by back end office or front end office, so that in that way business became easier between front end and back office. Third thing is when like companies sell anything, they if they have like manual calculation or anything, there is possibility that they can miss a data, or they can miss some code, something is deleted or something is not there in the org. They need to find things like where is the old code for this. So this all thing became easier in CPQ because there are lookups to thing, like if we are on the renewal then we can see the old data also. So that becomes more easier, and sales rep have a clear thing that what they are buying, what they have bought before, and how many discount they have sent it before, what is now. This is all clear in the CPQ. Now coming to the next slide, what like we are including in our CPQ training. So first thing is like we will be including like how CPQ manage with our Salesforce org. So installing and Salesforce installing CPQ org, installing CPQ package, then all configuring setting for the CPQ. Then we have like all the CPQ object like code, order, all have their own CPQ layouts. So building out those layouts, then we have customized tab for CPQ, all those things that will merge with our Salesforce org, that will be there. Then the second thing is CPU setup thing. So in CPU setup, we have like different product family on which many things are dependent, like guided selling and like showing product on the product selection screen. Everything is there. So because of that, like we will be learning how product family work for CPQ. Then the second thing will be the product bundle. So this is the main feature that we have in CPQ. So in CPQ, like we can have our product in the hierarchy kind of thing. So we can like distribute our product into multiple thing and make sales rep easier to select. So in product bundle we have features and options, so we can divide product into features and then we can give options to customer to select the product they want. I will show you the demo for this one. Like I will show you the slide how product bundle looks like in RR. Then third thing was the summary variable. So summary variable is something that is like our roll up summary. So in CPQ we use summary variable to roll up things. Then we have discount schedule. So the discount schedule is like if we want any product to be discounted on the basis of slab, like for 1 to 10 product, we want 5% discount, and then from 10 to 20 product, we want 20% discount. So that is easily manageable in CPQ. Then the third thing, the last thing is like the code template. So code template is a code document that we are showing to the customer. This includes code template, like this have various objects which we need to configure to make a code document. So this is all like a standard process that we have. We just only need to fill fields, and then we need to create body with HTML. We have visual force option also, and then we can easily merge them all and make a code template. So this is all in the standard way out of box functionality. Then this is the product bundle structure that looks like in our org. In our org, so the you can see like the topmost thing is subscription product service. So this is the bundle wrapper name, which includes all these products that are shown in the below screenshot. Then we come to this platform subscription add-on FT service support. All four of these are features. So we can say subscription product is a main bundle, and in which we are dividing products into the categories. So what those categories are is the features. So these are four features that we introduce, and like this all thing we need to suggest to business that how they want to sell their product. So they decide on that, and then we can make our bundle. Then in the bundle you can see there are four things: platform subscription, subscription bundle, subscription. These are all categories we have in our feature. And then inside this category we have essential package, professional package, premier package, essential plus SR. So all these things are the main product that we want to sell. So what makes easier with the product bundle? So with the product bundle, customer can easily go through all these tabs like sub platform subscription, add-on, FT service, and they can easily select any product they want. So it is like more feasible to the user to select product from this UI. Then this is the sample of the code document we have. So we have seen like this type of usually in their business we have like Word document or anything, or like Excel thing where we have done calculation and then they send it to their customer. So in CPQ code document, this makes easier. So we have all these options like where you can see the company information. So we have only fields where we can fill the address and the company name, company information, and we can see that all this section of the company information get printed on the code document. The second thing, build to and ship to, these all thing like only we need to fill the fields and this will be here. The quotation thing, these are also the dynamic one, but this can be easily pulled into the code document. Then the product one thing, so for this one we have like we can use HTML or VF table. So like more easy, we HTML table, we will see HTML, how HTML is used over this. So like this table will be easily visible to the customer, and it is the dynamic thing like how many products are there, that code document get easily configured on the clicks, and then we can send it to customer for approval or get it back and then check. So this all makes the process easy. Now we have guided selling. So guided selling is usually used for like when we configure any code and like we have thousand of products. So how will sales rep make the process easily? Like if customer want anything, how will he find anything? So guided selling help sales rep to filter the product on the product selection page. So like if we have multiple fabrics on the product selection page, we will have guided selling as we have on the screen. So he can easily select that how which type of fabric he wants. So if will select linen, then of linen type of fabric there will be multiple fabrics shows on the product selection screen. So he can like have multiple filters for that. If he want width, length, and anything what he want, he can have it on there, and easily product can be filtered on the product selection screen. So we have multiple objects that are included in this, and all these objects come with the CPQ package. So we have code process, process input, and process input condition. So code process is the fabric type that we created. Then in the process input we have like pick your fabric type, pick your fabric width, and pick your fabric length. All these are like process input. And if we go to the process input condition, so if we want like pick the fabric type linen. Then we want only one field to be like we want fabric width to be shown. Then we need to put process input condition into the first type, like linen type. And like if we have one more fabric type, that is cotton, and if we want length field to be shown when we select cotton in the fabric type, then we need to have input condition according to that. So all this make sales rep easier to select any product in the large quotation on the thousand of product. He can easily select any of the product. Now coming to the next thing, that is contracting process. That is like the major thing of the CPQ. So we have like contract life cycle. So on the contract life cycle, we have like we go through account, contact, opportunity, then we configure the code. So in configuring code, we use multiple CPQ features and then we configure a code. Now what happens to the code? We have to create like we can have an approval process, that is advanced approval process, and for the contact court approval. And if not, like we can have an order for that. After creating order, a sales rep go for creating a contract for that process. After contracting, if those are like subscription products, then subscription product will be added to the subscription. If we have asset like one time product that cannot be renewed, we will have them at asset. So like I will explain the type of products also. So we have like multiple type of product, like we have subscription product, we have one time product. So subscription product are those are renewable, that like though they can be buyed again, or like we can renew them in our existing contract. And asset are those product which can be only buyed one time, that if contract and that product will also end at the same time, and if we want to buy it again, we need to again add that product, so that will not renew it. So that is all come into the contract life cycle for the new business. Now, what happens if we have a renewal? Like if our contract is ending in December and customer wants the same product to be renewed each year. So what we do is like we have two checkbox on the contract, that is renewal forecast and renewal quoted. So whenever our new contract is created, we will check renewal forecast thing. So that will create a renewal opportunity first. So customer will get to know that customer will get to know that okay, so we have contracts, so we have renewal opportunity also. So prior to the 90 days of contract expiration, we have renewal quoted checkbox checked. So that customer should let us know before 90 days that they want renewal or not. If they don't have anything for us, then we will check it, and after like before 90 days their renewal will also created. So we don't need to do anything in this process, we just need to automate those checkbox, and this whole create process will be done. So this is like more about the renewal process. Like, and now coming to the amendment process. So what is amendment process? So like if we have a contract from 1st January to the December, then if in the mid of the if in the middle of the contract, customer wants that he want to increase quantity of some product, or if he wants to add any new product in the existing contract. So it is not easy like to make a new contract for the same business and then going through whole process. So this make is like it's like more complex, and it is not easy to manage to have two contracts for the same business, and then we need to go through each one of them, then what is going and what is not going. So what amend will do, like we can have amend from the contract. So if we have contract from 1st Jan to 31st December, we can amend it at any time between those contract dates. And when we amend it, we will show with the codes, automatically amendment opportunity and contract will be opportunity and code will be created. And on the amended code, you will get option to select all the products that are there in the new code. So there will be a checkbox where you can check, and like you can like decide like what product you want an amendment or not. So whatever product you will select for the amendment will get added to your amendment code. So on the amendment code, CPQ also manage pricing of price thing also. So like you have selected one product that is of 500 price and you have already paid for it, and you have it on the amend code also. And on the amend code you will see that beside of 500 you want 1000 quantity. So if when you will put 1000, you, cause CPQ will not charge you for the existing 500, it will only charge you for the new 500 quantity. Apart from this, you can add any new product into the system that will charge as a new business also. And after amending, like you need to go through the complete process, that is like amending code and then creating order, then again creating contract. And same for the renewal after creating code, you need to amend that, order that, and that you need to create contract from that. So this is all like a contracting process, and like multiple renewal and amendments are also there in the CPQ. So whole pricing thing is managed by the CPQ itself. But sometimes we have some things that are not that are not, that business don't want, or they want specific to their business. So for that we have some CPQ main features that are like product rule, price rule, and multi-dimensional coding. So what is product rule? So if we have like multiple products on the system, like multiple products in the bundle, or the standalone product, like we don't have only bundles, we can have standalone products also. So if we want any product to be shown on the basis of code type, like if we have renewal, we don't want service to be there, so we can easily manage it with product rules. So product rule are of different type. Those are validation, selection, filter, and alert. So we can have any alert message for selecting and deselecting any product. We can have filter, that this product can be selected or this can be not. We have validation, like if we have any product of more quantity, like, and we can have a threshold that this product can be only sold for 10 quantity, and if we have 400, then there will be a validation on QLE screen. And the last one is selection. So selection one is like if we have a subscription selected on the code line, and we have compulsion that support should also be there every time when we select any subscription, then we can have like selection product rule, which will always select support over there. So also like we have different I will show you the sub product bundles again. So on this product bundle we have like option constraint also for the bundle. Like product rule we can use for standalone as well as bundle, but we have one option constraint CPQ feature also that we use in bundle. So if we want like essential option constraints are of two type, that is dependency and exclusion. So what it do is like if we want essential package, if we select essential package, we want premier package also to be selected. So that is dependency, that premier package is dependent on essential. So we can make this dependency, and every time we select essential package, premier package will automatically get added to it. And then the second one is exclusion. So exclusion is like if we select professional bundle, we don't want customer to buy essential package or premier package, then we can remove we can use an exclusion option constraint, which will help us. If we choose professional package, then it will remove, like it will fade off essential package and premier package, and it will not allow customer to select both of these options. So this is also one thing that is dependent on product. Now coming to the second thing, that is price rule. So okay, on the price rule we have price rule is more of the pricing thing. Like if we want to manage price, we can say like in technical term, like price rule is more of the workflow, more like a workflow, but it is specific to some time. Uh, okay. So it is specific to some time. Price rule is specific to time that we need. It is like more kind of workflow, but dependent on some product like code and product. So if we have like type of code, we can easily have like any field that needs to be updated. So we have four thing where we can do it, like it is low on initialization, after saving, before saving, on load. These all things are there, and we can easily update anything on the code or code line level by the price rule. So this is like, in technical term, I can say that this is more like a workflow. And in this we have three objects. First is the price rule that have name and the basic setup for the price rule. The second thing is price condition, where we put condition that when this should occur. That is same as workflow. And third is price action. So price action include like what needs to be updated and what not. So that is all like a field update thing. So this is like price will help us more to configure things and updating things in the CPQ. Now coming to the multidimensional coding. So what is like multidimensional coding? So if customer is agreeing to us that he will buy a product for 3 years, and he is paying for 3 years, but we cannot like, he want his price to be shown as in the segment, like he want year one product, year one price, year two price, year three price, like, or he want monthly price, or he want any custom segments over there. So what we can do is we can have segments into a single code. Like if we configure a code from 1st of 2020, so 1st of 2020 to 31st of 23 year. So like all three code, we need to create a segment, and then we can add product into it. And for like, customer will create each segment for each year, and then we can have particular discount for every year. We can have particular pricing, band pricing thing for each year. So this is more of, if customer is in advance, he is paying for 3 years, but and we need to make code for it. So and we have different discount and different band price into it, so we don't need to make whole code for 3 years. We can have like only product for 3 years, and we can also have standalone products which have like consistent price throughout the 3 years. And we can also have some products like we can have it in segment with different discounts and everything. Okay, so these are like all the major features that we have in the CPQ, and these are like all the highlights I have. We have also detail components what we are including in this, like with all the objects that we have with each one of them. And then additionally, we will be providing an advance approval package into us. So I believe like advance approval package is like more helpful. And what I have seen till now is like, whoever is using CPQ is using advance approval package. So I was suggesting that we can have this included in this our CPQ session training. So this will help you to build like more flexible to the CPQ and the approval process. So advanced approval is like majorly like more more featured than the standard process that we have. So in advance approval, we have multiple chains. Like we have, if we have two teams, like we have one finance team and one we have sales team. So if we want any product, if we want any code that needs to be first signed with finance team, then signed with the sales team, that can easily be done by advance approval. Or we want like not this chain process, but we want a parallel thing. Like if we have support product, then code needs to be go on the sales part. And if we have subscription product, we need approval from the finance team. This can all manage with the advance approval. Second thing that is like more feasible with it is like, we can have a group approval. We can make a public group, and then we can assign, we can have public group, we can have delegate approval also over here. Like if any approver is not there for some duration of time, then he can set and delegate approval that, okay, I am not there, then this person will be approving for this duration of time. So all those approval will be redirected to that person. So all these functionality like that is very nice and very rare that we find in our standard process. We have an approval package. So for this we have an approval rule. So in approval rule we need to mention approval chain. So first we need to make chain like finance one, sales one, whatever we have. Then we need to have approvers record. So in approval record we mention users, like what all users we have. And like if we have group we can mention group. We can have all, we can also have a dynamic approver into that. Like sometimes business want that code needs to be approved to the manager of that particular area. So on the basis of the particular region that we have on the code, we can make a dynamic approver. So whoever will be the manager of that area will get approval for that. This is also a nice feature that we have in our approval package. Then email template and email service. So this is what we send to the customer to approve and reject the codes. So for this what we do is we have an email templates, that email template object for that for the with the standard email template we make a template what however we want, like HTML, VF, anything. And then ID of that email template is put into the template object record. And that email template is mentioned in our approval rules. So whenever that rule will trigger, that email template that is mentioned over there will be triggered. Then is the email service thing. So email service is more about sending emails to the customer and then getting back back response from them. So the feature that we have in email service is like we can mention keywords over there like reject, approve, anything, yes or anything. So whenever customer will include any of the keyword in their email, our approval will get approved automatically. So and also like if customer rejected and have any comment or anything in the email, that is also get captured in our Salesforce or by the email service, so that we all have in our approval package. And then setting up approvers that I have already discussed with you. So those is that is like more about like setting approvers with dynamic approver or the standalone approver. So all those needs to be set on the approvers object. And then we need to use those approver records, or like we have lookup of those approval in our approval rule. So we need to select approver over there, and whenever rule will get triggered, approvers will get the email for that. So we have like serial approval, parallel approval, many things in that. And like it is view and all is like easily understandable with the sales rep, and we can easily show it to customer that how they are discounting and anything. So approvals rules can be basis on the discounting part. We can help have it on the type, or like what is the code type. If we have renewal, we want any approval, we can have it on the type of code. Or else like we can have a type of the product, like if we have subscription we need approval. So all these things are included in this approval. We can have approval conditions into it, and we can, and this approval rule get triggered easily. So this is additional package that we will be teaching with the CPQ package. And this is an like different package than CPQ. We need to install it like we need to install it additional to the CPQ. But if customer is using that, like that will be easy for you to like work on this one. That's it from my side. And like I hope like this helps us you to understand that what we are including in our training. And if you have like anything that is not mentioned over here or anything, we are like have a curriculum for that. We can share all with you, and you can see that how we are going with our training. So like we are starting our regular batch from next Monday, so you can like contact on the given mentioned WhatsApp number or the email to the SVTechSoft, and we can start our batch from next Monday. So that's it from my side. If you have anything, you can ask.
Yeah, Vartika. So, as a CPQ, so in this, as per my understanding, there is no development or coding involved. Am I correct?
Yeah, so you are correct. So we have only like we this all can be managed by the configuration. We have one thing called as QCP. So QCP is more like a JavaScript thing. So there are
Mm-hmm.
some times where on QLE something is not manageable with the price rule, then we go for QCP.
Mm-hmm.
So that is like more rare. Like everyone don't use QCP like because that is JavaScript thing and that is not easily manageable with every developer. So QCP is ignored for that. But yes, we have QCP and that is sometimes used with CPU.
Okay. And so, as a CPQ means what our roles will be, like CPQ admin, or what our role will be
So
if we go if we got recruited into a company.
yeah, so that is like more of a CPQ developer only. This is not a admin kind of role. And it depends on companies also. So I was a CPQ developer all the time. So generally, it
Mm-hmm.
is a developer. It is not a admin kind of thing, and in tech, it isn't too much of demand nowadays. CPQ, I can say.
Yeah. Okay. So, how about the package? Uh, on an average, uh, how much we can expect?
So, like, it depends. I can say, like, it depends on your experience first, like, how much experience
Mm-hmm.
you have. Because, like, whenever, like, when you will start learning, you will see that there is many more things to explore and many more new
Mm-hmm.
things. And customer every time comes with a new thing that we need to bring up with CPQ. Like CPQ have its own thing that we need to configure, but customer come with a new thing that we need to explore and we need to manage it with CPQ. So that all comes with the experience, I believe. And like if you, whenever you will do training and if you do like multiple tasks or like assignments kind of thing, you will get to learn more. And like it depends more on the interview thing, like how you
Mm-hmm.
are answering, how and CPQ interviews are like more scenario based. There are like not
Mm-hmm.
direct question, those are like scenario based. They always give you scenarios for, like you can see like if bundle scenario that I have shown. So
Mm-hmm.
they will give you a scenario for a bundle, that how will you create a bundle for this, how will you hide option for this. So interviews are mostly like scenario based thing, so it comes up with experience and like more work on the assignments and tasks.
Mm-hmm. So, I'm a Salesforce developer. So now I have over 3.5 years of experience into Salesforce. So I just wanted to explore this thing too. So that's why I'm asking.
Yeah. So I think
Mm.
like CPQ will help you more. Like if you are into Salesforce already, then CPQ will be add on into it, and like you will be like quickly getting these things. And I think you can, like you already know that how Salesforce interviews goes. So CPQ
Mm.
is only just like of scenario based thing.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And we have like different fields that are like standard fields of the CPQ package. So mostly it depends on those fields and everything. So I believe that it it is more dependent how you work and how you go through the org. It is more dependent on your interview and the process.
Okay. Yeah, Ratika, those are all the questions I have.
Yeah. Anyone else have anything? Okay. So guys, like we are starting our batches, please like register for it. We will be starting and I will be like going through all the training. We can share you the curriculum before we start, and we can have like working sessions where I will show you demos and everything. You can like register on this. Okay, so should I stop recording, Kishore?
Yes, yes, yes. Sir. Thanks for your today's session.
Yeah.
I will follow up the candidates